Welcome to the Twist Podcast, number 135. This is Mark McNease on a beautiful, cool day. Now, to me, beautiful can be cloudy because I love clouds and I love cool weather, and that's what we have at least in the mornings here in rural New Jersey. What do you have there? You're in a spaceship, Rick. That's crazy.
Yeah, it allows us. We record this on Skype, guys. Shout out to Skype. And it allowed me this morning to change my background. I think Skype's trying to keep up with its big brother or sister, Zoom, where you can change the background. But I'm not on a spaceship. But it kind of feels like it because I'm only like 50 miles from Kenosha, Wisconsin, here in Madison, Wisconsin. Yeah, kind of weird day yesterday in our state, but we'll get into it. Mark, I know it's cooler weather because it's September, and my friend Sandra had posted this. I just got to start the show with this because most of us are like, wow, it's September 1st already. Well, today's the 2nd. But dear September, I don't want any trouble from you. Just come in, sit down, don't touch anything, and keep your mouth shut. That's the
And
truth.
that is the truth. And do you remember Frank's artist, September?
Oh, yes. Love
Cry for
her.
You, I think, was hers.
Oh, that's right. She was great. Did you know? This is interesting. So last night I went down the rabbit hole about celebrities who have had COVID. She had COVID.
Really?
Not September. I'm sorry. Cascada had
Oh,
COVID.
Cascada. Oh, that's even worse because
Natalie.
I mean, I met them both, but I really like Cascada.
And
Now,
did you know that Madonna had COVID, Pink had COVID, Lena Dunham had COVID, Antonio Banderas? The list is huge.
who's Pinkhead?
Doja Cat, Sarah Bareilles, they all had COVID.
Wow, and they're all alive. I wouldn't be telling that too much there because then everybody will think, oh, it's no big deal. They're all still alive.
Well, I do have a list of the celebrities that died of it. Joe Diffie, there's tons of people that I can put on the other side of things
John
too.
Prine, the
John
songwriter John Prine.
Prine, that was a big loss. Of course, in the political realm, that gentleman that ran for Kane, Mr. Kane, tons of people
Yeah.
that died from it. Yeah, let's not
Now,
forget that.
no, but now a question. You're near Kenosha, so is everything on fire there? Or like all the buildings and houses on fire?
I mean, there's been a lot of damage. My friend Tony actually had just redone one of the projects he worked on since COVID. He does historic renovation, was the building where all the stuff is unfolding in front of. It's dangerous. I drove through the town the very day that the shooting happened. You know what's so sad about the situation? I'm going to go there, is the politicizing of the two biggest issues in our lives right now here in America. One is racial injustice, and the other being COVID. And this president has just decided to politicize the whole thing,
Of
despite our
course,
governor.
he's trying to get reelected and scare the white folks. And
Yep.
I was being facetious because he's the one who said everything's on fire. But people who live in these cities like Portland will tell you that no, the whole city's not on fire. It's very limited in the area that it's in and these things. And I read that the storefront that he had, like, got some photo op of him that's been burned down, and he's in front of it, and he's the store owner. This was in the news. The store owner refused when he was asked to provide this photo opportunity for the president. So the Trump people got the previous store owner to come do it. Now, excuse me, how do you get away with that? You don't own this fucking store. Oh, I gotta stop using the F word so much. But anyways, it's just crazy and politicized and horrible, and we got to win this, and people need to wake up because we'll talk about it all. But you got the Supreme Court. Ginsburg's not making it another 4 years, and I can't think of anything more heartbreaking than Donald Trump replacing Ruth Bader Ginsburg.
Yeah, and
Um,
we will make that today's topic for sure. I
and then
mean,
also Social Security. I mean, this is a real imminent threat, and people need to really understand this. He's doing the tax deferral for 4 months, which they have to pay back next year. But he has the emergency power to do it for a year at a time. And if he stops the payroll tax for a year, the Social Security disability will be gone. It will run out. And if he stops it for another year, finds it, just declares another emergency, which he's absolutely willing to do, he could. There won't be any Social Security left in by 2023. People need to really understand this. They think it's not going to happen. It's not possible with this president, this imperial president, who has no need for Congress. The House and the Senate are now like useless. They're like appendixes. They accomplish nothing and serve no purpose. We have an imperial monarchical president who is going to do everything by fiat, and he can destroy Social Security, and he's on track to do that. So people need to, excuse me, wake the fuck up, because a lot of his supporters, they can put all the Trump signs in their lawns they want to, but when their Social Security stops coming in, they're gonna like their eyes are gonna open. I hope. I don't know.
Very true. At any age, be woke. At any level of your economic background, be woke. There are problems. There are challenges. And the other thing, Mark, they say Wisconsin is the state that's going to make the decision.
I'm
Biden
not
better get
convinced.
his
I know you
butt
want. I
here.
know you like to think that because you live there, but I'm not
No,
convinced. But go ahead.
I don't want to think that. I mean, I'd rather not have that pressure, to be quite frank. But Biden better get his butt here. Remember, Clinton didn't make her round here. That's not going to be it. We'll make this today's topic. We'll talk
I
about
think
what
they're.
is.
I think the Democrats are paying attention. I really honestly believe they learned from 2016. Biden's been in Pennsylvania. But by
Yeah.
the way, if just hypothetically, if Biden takes Florida, it's over. Fuck Wisconsin. He doesn't need Wisconsin. If he wins Florida, like say he wins Florida, Pennsylvania, and Michigan, Wisconsin is not the kingmaker it thinks it is. He wouldn't
Well,
need Wisconsin.
they just look at Wisconsin too, because it's one of those states that's slowly eroding and going to the other color. But here's the deal. My bottom line is this: he came to pay for votes yesterday. He announced plans to give money to the entire state. He announced plans to give money to stores to be rebuilt in that city. He announced plans to give money to the police force. He's just trying to buy the vote. I'm sorry.
Well, and
That's
what I always think is weird about that is I'm happy to take somebody's money and still not vote for them. Why you're not going to buy my vote? Trump supporters were on Facebook like back when they did the stimulus checks. I hope all these Democrats and liberals refuse to take Trump's money. It's not
yeah.
his money, number one. It's coming from the taxpayers, and I happen to be one. But I'm happy to take Trump bucks and not vote for the son of a bitch. I have no problem with it. So I'm
It's
not
so
I'm
funny.
not sure why buying votes is that effective, because people can take your money and not vote for you.
Take your money and run like a game show. I'll tell you, I wish it was that, easy like a game show. But I had a family member say, well, you should turn down that stimulus check, Rick, because it came from your president and you claim he's not your president. Okay, well, maybe you gave me the stimulus money, buddy, but whatever.
Well,
Anyway,
by the way, I happen to think every American president is all of our presidents. That's one thing I don't get into, is saying that this one is not my president.
oh,
He's
for
the
sure. I've
president of the
never
United
heard that.
States. I can't
I,
stand him. I hope these mini. I'm waiting for the big one. I know he's had a bunch of mini strokes. I'm praying for the big one, but I don't think
oh, that whole
I
thing
don't.
that came out about his November health, is that what you're talking about? Yeah, that was weird,
I
huh?
just I try to stay out of the take our. I don't even say take our country back, because what does that mean when you think it through? It's everybody's country all the time, and the president is our president, but it's not his money. Like, why do these people think that he's writing a personal check from the Donald Trump checking account to me? He's not. We paid that money in just like all of our other taxes. So that's just bullshit. And I'm sure they were happy to take Obama's money. You remember? Didn't Obama do stimulus? I'm sure he did.
I think, yeah,
They
I
took
think that
his
was.
money.
No, I don't know. That might have been
They
under
take his
Bush. I
health
don't
care.
know.
They take his goddamn health care.
Yeah. Ring that bell,
You're
bell,
getting me
bell.
worked up, baby.
Ring that bell. This is supposed to be today's topic, and we just jumped right in.
I know, but
What's new, Mark?
I want to
What's new?
thank our listeners. We're getting up there, Rick. We did over 600 downloads in August, and
Oh,
it's
thank you
climbing.
all.
We're going to get to 6,000 with the help of everybody. Because we're on everywhere now. You can get Alexa, but she plays it through iHeartRadio. We're on iHeartRadio, Spotify, Libsyn, the twistpodcast.com. If people want to email us, just write to twisted at the twist podcast. You like that? Twisted at the
I
twistpodcast.com.
like that very much, but now you just woke Alexa up behind my back, and she won't stop talking.
Oh,
Just by saying it, she heard you. I know.
but anyways, we're doing really great. I just wanted to
Alexa
thank
off.
everybody. Alexa off. Shut up. I
Just
tell
had
her to shut up.
Yeah, we want to thank everybody. I also want to shout out, but this has been a music week. MTV awards, the video awards. My gal, Lady Gaga, winning like this new award, which is called the Tricon Award for fashion and for music and for acting. And she wore her mask, and every time she came on stage, she had a different mask. Of course, she wore her mask when she sang. That was pretty cool. It was cool to see the what do you call those guys? The one Fergie used to sing with. They were back on stage
Black
and
Eyed
did.
Peas, but she's
Black
not
Eyed
with them. She's not with them anymore, is she?
No, she's being a mom, and so they replaced her with a new gal named Jessica Reynoso. They call her J. Ray Soul. I didn't think she was all that, but it was interesting to see her perform.
Okay.
Yeah, cool awards. And it was all virtual, not virtual. It was all video backgrounds. They did everything in front of a green screen. So all the performances felt like you were right in a music video. I loved it.
Yeah, I read about her. I was really happy that she did that. And we got a bunch of stuff. Do you want to do the big topics or the headlines?
We can do whatever you want. No, we can go into the headlines. Let's do that. I've got some news. You've got some news. Let's rock and roll, baby.
Okay, this isn't really a headline, but Frank and I finally cut the cord. We are cable free. We use YouTube TV, which is I love. It's so we're saving money and we're not addicted to the cable company anymore. We do keep them for internet because you can't actually stream anything without online access. So I wanted to put that out there. J. Crew is giving employees the day off and closing all its stores on election day. It's not going out of business, which is what you might think when you read the headline. No, they're going to
Right.
close on Tuesday, November 3rd, so uh, people can vote. And I am now encouraging, because we gotta do this stuff. I'm encouraging people, if you can vote in person, you don't have to, but if you can vote in person, do it, because I believe what I've read, and I think it's correct, that Trump and the plan is to get all these Republicans to vote in person, Democrats, using mail-in ballots heavily, and then he's going to declare victory on election night because it's going to appear that he won because of the in-person voting, and then they're going to do everything they can to stop counting the ballots. So if you can vote in person, vote in person. If you can't, I totally understand it, but get that shit in early. Court ruled in favor of, this is some good news in this bleak time. Court rules in favor of transgender student barred from using
Yay.
the boys' bathroom. A federal appeals judge on Wednesday, my eyes are getting so bad, handed a victory to transgender student once prohibited from using the boys' bathroom in a 2-1 decision. The U.S. Court of Appeals for the Fourth Circuit and the Gloucester County School Board in Virginia, of all places, that they had practiced sex-based discrimination by not allowing this young boy to use the boys' room, and the court sided with him. So that is super,
Nice.
super good news.
Good news.
Ann Dorn spoke at the Republican convention. David Dorn's daughters said he would not have approved. Actually, they said it was appalling or disgusting or something. Dorn was the I don't know if he was retired. I don't know. I think he was retired, but anyways, he was a police sort of person. I just printed out the headline, but I did read it, and he was killed in Portland, I believe it was, in rioting. But he wasn't killed by the rioters. He was defending a store, like a convenience store, and he got killed when they looted it. But anyways, he's a black man, and he was very opposed to Trump. I'm not going to say he hated him, but he was a Democrat. He was very opposed to Trump. His widow is white. She's not the mother of the 2 daughters. That was from a previous message. So anyways, she showed up at the RNC. I don't know if you watched it, but she gave a
Well, I
speech.
heard. I didn't
And the
watch.
daughter said it was like really appalling because he would never have wanted that. He would never have wanted that. So, anyways, I'm just putting that out there.
That's yeah.
New Trump coronas advisor Scott Atlas pushes controversial herd immunity strategy. This is something I wrote about on Facebook yesterday. People, they're going to let everybody die. They're just going to slowly but surely just start letting lots and lots of people die to try and achieve immunity in the population. My biggest thing with this, first of all, it's insane, but is that and I said this on Facebook too, because I rant on Facebook and then I delete it because I obsess over it.
I didn't know you deleted it.
Oh, I delete stuff all the time, but I really never want to hear Trump supporters, conservatives, Republicans calling themselves pro-life when they're doing nothing to stop the needless deaths of hundreds of thousands of people. We are now at 185,000 dead in the United States. I don't see any pro-lifers out there demanding that if people at least wear masks. I mean, if you're going to tell me you're pro-life, you better goddamn be wearing a mask. And I think a lot of them don't. So I don't buy the pro-life shit. It's fetal obsession. They're obsessed with controlling women's bodies. The only life that matters to them is this imaginary, sacred, little angelic unborn life. That's it. I mean, as soon as you're born, they don't give a fuck about you.
Let me interject here. Bill Cassidy, the senator out of Louisiana, he got COVID and he didn't wear a mask. I mean, the day he posed for a picture with someone I know in Shreveport, they posted the picture and they said this very day he went on and got COVID. So, and he is a huge pro-lifer. So, perfect example of what you're stating.
Yes. I only have a few more. This was it. This was good news. Joe Biden is up 27 points among 2016 third-party voters. Please don't waste your vote on. Now I know people in safe states like New Jersey think that they can go ahead and vote for a third party because Jersey's going to go for Biden.
No third party votes, please. It's
But
never worked. It
no,
won't.
I did it with Ralph Nader when he was running against Gore because I knew he was not going to win New York. I knew that Gore was going to win.
Did
New
we ever
York.
talk about this? I did the same thing. I voted for him.
But just for as an ethical thing, I would never do that again. I would never vote third party again. I don't care who
Right.
I know is going to win my state because I want to know that I voted to stop this insanity. Joe Biden smacks down Trump in Pittsburgh. Did you see the speech? Oh my gosh, it was so good.
I love the quote from the speech, a word I haven't used in a long time. Loved it.
There were a lot of really good quotes in that speech. You know, people trying to write Biden off and buying into the Sleepy Joe shit. He's been around a long time, and this man, and he's funny. He's a funny. There were on a little side note, there was a thing on Twitter yesterday. Gave a speech. I think it was when he provided pizza to these first responders or a fire department, right? So he's coming out of the fire department place, and there's some Trump ass moron on top of his truck waving Trump flags and with a bullhorn shouting Trump shit. And Biden said, "Don't jump." It got a lot of play on Twitter.
I
It
hadn't
was
heard that.
funny. And then
That
some
made me
right wing cupcake, tweets out Biden mocks suicide. Like, oh come on, give me a fucking break. He's gonna eviscerate Donald Trump, and that's gonna be one of my topics today. Analytics firm warns that it will appear Trump won by large margin before all mail ballots are later counted. I told you that. That's
Yeah.
we got it. Hopefully, he actually loses on election night, and we move beyond this. And then the last thing is the latest battlefield in a heated presidential campaign, front yards bearing Biden signs. And I have an example of this. My friend Jean, who lives in Alabama with her wife, she put out a sign for Doug Jones, who's the Democrat. He's not going to win, but she put a sign out for Doug Jones, and just one lonely little sign. And the next morning, the neighbor across the street had rung the neighbor's property with Trump signs. Like, come on, man. Just put a sign up, a Trump sign up. Don't say fuck you and be this triumphalist bullshit. But I think that's a lot of who they are, to be honest with you. That's why we must crush them. But people will steal your Biden signs. I mean, people are afraid to put out Biden-Harris signs because they know some Trump MAGA moron is going to steal them.
Wow.
You know?
I didn't know that was like, yeah, I mean, that makes sense. I can see it happening. But yeah, we're going to have more on this topic about the election. You brought up some good points that feed into it with today's topic. Speaking of elections, big news in Massachusetts last night. They had a senatorial primary in the Democratic Party. Joseph Kennedy of the Kennedy clan lost. So it's the first time in history that a Kennedy lost a vote in Massachusetts. He lost.
Really happy about that. A lot of people.
Well, I'm a big Markey fan. He lost to Edward Markey, who's held a seat in Congress since the mid-70s, 74-year-old man. Yeah. Are you happy about it, or don't you care? You're not from there.
No, I am happy about it because he's a progressive, and I think it's another good sign that they're not going away. They're not being, relegated to the sidelines. I think it's great because I'm not invested in another Kennedy being in office anywhere, but I just think it's great because Pelosi got behind Kennedy, and the people in Massachusetts, especially the progressives, they didn't want this. They wanted Markey, and they got him, so I'm happy.
Yeah, I love Markey. Well, yeah, and she got behind him very last minute, probably after she got her hair done without wearing a mask at that shutdown business in San Francisco. We'll talk about that later. Did you hear that news story?
What happened?
Oh, it's all over the internet. There's pictures of her. Nancy Pelosi apparently went into a closed down hair salon and got her done when she wasn't supposed to. But
oh my gosh,
you haven't seen the story? It's all over the internet.
No, I'll look for it. But it could. absolutely be part of this whole double standard. It's like when she did the ice cream, right? She's showing off
Yeah,
her.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm sure she asserts her power where she can,
But
but
that's where she lives. She showed off her house. This is where she fucking lives, and this is what she eats. And everybody was like blowing up about, oh my God, she's eating $13 ice cream while people are starving in the streets. They don't say that shit about the Republicans, about Trump, and
yeah.
fucking Ivanka with her $14,000 handbag
Or how about when he went
in a
golf
photo
in New
op.
Jersey
Come
for a
on.
day when the fees were $350,000 just to get on the golf course? What
Well, if you
ass?
want good ice cream, you're paying 13, 8. We pay like $8, $9 for a pint of really good ice cream. So
Me too. The keto shit's expensive. Black Panther Chadwick Boseman passing away. That was big news. And that ABC did an edited version or unadvertised version, no ads in it, commercial free Black Panther, and a tribute to him the other night. That was quite the honor for an actor that's really got behind the historic characters he's played over time, fictional or real.
yeah,
He really brought.
I read that he really pushed to have African accents in the Black
Yep.
Panther, which I didn't
He
know.
worked really hard on everything he did. He went to an all-black school, all-black college, Howard University, and really carried through his belief into his acting and empowering his own people. This is a big one. Netflix is fearful. It's people are saying they're running out of content and they're fearful of losing people that are prescribed or subscribed. So they're giving you some free content, guys. If you're not a Netflix user, you do not have to be a user. You can log into a website and get free Netflix for things like the Stranger Things and the movie The Two Popes. Grace and Frankie is also free. And when you do log in, it's interesting. I don't know if you remember that song, ta-dum. Whenever you see the Netflix logo come up, it goes ta-dum.
Yeah, sure.
Well, Hans Zimmer, the movie composer, just wrote a new opening for it. So it's kind of interesting. Speaking of openings, theaters have opened, and I went back to see a movie. I went to see Charles. What's it? I was going to say Charles Doolittle. What's his name? It's a character.
Dr. Do right.
No,
Doolittle, Dr. Doolittle.
no, that was before COVID. Um, David Copperfield. I went to see.
Oh yeah, okay.
It was really cool. I went to see it with my friend Brenda. It was really awesome. So movie theaters are back, and I felt super safe. People were like, "What'd you feel like?" And I felt super safe. This is an interesting one. Of course, the song Michael Jackson has a song called "They Don't Care About Us." It was re-released, and they put images of the Black experience and everything going on, rioting, and where we're at today behind it. So it's a new release of the thing. It was done by I'm so bad with names anymore. Mark, who's the Black filmmaker? Come on.
Spike Lee.
Spike Lee, and he honors Michael Jackson every day with a big event. I mean, not every day, every year with a big event in Brooklyn called Brooklyn Loves Michael Jackson Block Party, and it was held on Saturday, and they released this video. Also, speaking of projects coming back, Law and Order is bringing back the character of Elliot Stabler.
I know.
Yeah, it's
I
called
want to see
Organized
how
Crime.
old he looks.
I know. I mean, he used to be the hot one, they said,
Well,
and
I'm sure he will still be hot, but I want to see how old he looks.
They pushed it. It was expected to debut this October, and even though Law and Order SVU is coming back, they pushed this one until next year. It will center on his character who returns to the New York Police Department to lead the organized crime division, but there's a devastating personal loss in his life. I'm dying to see what it is. Also newsworthy. Let's talk
Maybe his
about
boyfriend.
maybe he wasn't gay on there.
No, but he could be. He could come back gay.
Anyone could be gay, Mark. United Airlines and Delta Airlines have waived their fees. It's going to result in $2.7 billion in loss for these airlines,
So
but they've
sad.
decided. Yeah, interesting. So no, I know, right? No fees for standby, no fees for changing your ticket. I think it's a good move.
It is a good move, and I don't care how much money they lose. They're horrible.
Well, and they basically said, the president of the United States is like, last time we had a crisis, which was 9/11, we took care of ourselves to survive, but now we want the survival of our nation, and we want people to get up and get about. Two stories about flight. I found this interesting. I don't know if you saw the headline this morning. Airline pilots, two separate pilots on two different planes, reported seeing a guy in a jetpack flying 3,000 feet over Los Angeles as they were coming in their planes. There was a guy in a jetpack flying 3,000 feet. In the meantime, a kite flying festival turned terrifying in Taiwan this past Sunday when a 3-year-old girl became entangled in the tail of a giant kite, which sent her flying high in the air. They had to pull her down and stop the festival. The winds were like 38 miles per hour. I would have loved to be either of those people. I always have dreams of flight, either accidental or by choice. It would be cool to get up in the air. And then lastly, on the food front, Mark, I love to report on food. So it's PSL season. Do you know what that stands for?
Pre-seasonal something.
No, it stands for pumpkin spice latte season. Started early this year. It's been running for about 17 years, the craze of it. So it's finally got an acronym. But Dunkin' Donuts beating Starbucks to come out with their thing like a week early in August, a week before Starbucks did. But here's the thing. Get this. Fall enthusiasts can call the Starbucks hotline, 833-GET-FALL, to hear a variety of prompts that will transport them to their favorite season, including a crackling fire, a hayride through a pumpkin patch, or even some PSL-inspired meditations.
Love it.
What? I think that's crazy.
Love it.
And lastly, we've talked on this show before about expensive foods that they come out with. There's a restaurant called PBJ's in Chicago, and it doesn't stand for PBJ's like peanut butter and jelly. It stands for like pop and jukebox and brilliant food or something. But they came out with a peanut butter and jelly sandwich that's costing hundreds of dollars. It's gold infused bread. Every ingredient in it is very pricey and selective, except the peanut butter is only $5 a jar. But otherwise, it's that. You could pair that along with a potato chip. The world's most expensive potato chip came up. You can buy it, a box of them, Mark, which is just five chips for $10 a chip. That must be really
interesting.
Interesting. So that's my news, bro.
I do know that Trump gave his autograph to somebody the other day and said told him he could sell it on eBay for $10,000.
He did not.
He did. That's who Trump is. But anyways,
one last piece. Andrew Lloyd Webber, just real quick. He did a mashup of the song WAP, which is done by.
Oh my God, are you serious? I know.
Yes.
It's Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion.
Yeah, it is. He did a mashup of that song with the Phantom of the Opera, and people don't know how to feel about it. So check it out online.
Because you can't even say what it stands for.
You
You know what it stands for?
A white something P?
No, honestly, Rick, do you know what it stands for?
I really don't know. I see it everywhere.
Wet ass pussy.
Are you? Well, no wonder they're
That's
upset
what
with
WAP stands for, and that's why people like Tucker Carlson are losing their shit. It's wet because these black women have the nerve to celebrate their pussies. Oh my God.
Well, why would Andrew Lloyd Webber, Sir Andrew Lloyd Webber,
he's
get
funny? Because he's got a sense of humor.
Well, his fans are not thinking it's so funny.
You can't even print the lyrics to that song. So I've been curious to like how are they playing this on the radio? Because they talk about bring them up. You know, really.
I hear the song. I don't like it at all, and I never knew what it was. I just don't like the sound. I don't like that Megan gal.
Powerful black women, Rick. Come on.
That's a no. Yeah, that is definitely something I don't like.
You know, I want. We're going to get into enthusiasm because we got to keep it rolling, anyways. But I want Kamala Harris in the White House, man. I can't think of anything more exciting.
Love her.
Than them winning and Kamala friggin' Harris moving into the White House. Oh my God. I'd be like, oh my God.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. So what do you want to do? You want to play a little this or that and get some lightness in the show?
Now I had them written down. Did I lose them? I don't think so. Let me see.
So this or that, guys, you can play along with us. We present it when Mark and I launched this. It was called Yes or No. Actually, I think Q, who filled in for a year when Mark took a little hiatus from the show, she launched it with Yes or No. So it was like,
here's my this or that. So I'm doing first.
Well, I'm just explaining to our 600 listeners.
They don't need to be explained to. They're smart.
They know what this or that is.
People who listen to the Twist podcast are smart people.
They'll follow right along with this. Okay, you go, I go. You go, I go.
They'll enjoy the email being twisted at the Twist podcast. Okay, this or that. Madonna or Cyndi Lauper?
Oh, Lauper, 100%.
Yeah, me too. I know these are old ladies at this point, but I remember when they first came out, they both came out because we got to editorialize, and the stuff was like, oh, everybody said Cyndi Lauper was going to be the big star, and it's Madonna. But I'm telling you, Cyndi Lauper is still here, Still fabulous, still amazing, and I
So
got nothing. I got
multi-talented.
nothing against Madonna, but absolutely Cyndi
Well,
Lauper.
she brought in a movement. They both kind of did in musical styles, but I like the movement that she brought in. Talk about girls just wanting to have fun. All right, here's one for you. Doctor
No,
Who.
are we doing back and forth?
Yes. Did
Okay,
you listen to me, Mark?
all
I
right, go
just
for it.
said.
Go for it.
Doc- I never get mad at Mark. I'm pretending, guys. Doctor Who or The Walking Dead?
Oh, The Walking Dead,
Really?
because I play their
I,
slot machines in Atlantic City. I've never seen Doctor Who, but I've The Walking Dead. I've won a bunch of money on a Walking Dead slot machine.
I would have put my money down that you would have said Doctor Who. Susie, who listens to the show, would have said Doctor Who. Just saying.
Hi,
Got her name.
Susie. Shout out to Susie.
I
You can tag
see.
her now. You can tag her.
I can and I will.
Okay,
Here-
chocolate syrup or hot fudge?
Hot fudge all the way. The thicker, the better, baby.
Yeah, I'm gonna say hot. I mean chocolate syrup because it doesn't melt the ice cream.
Oh, see, I like that melted flavor under there. Mm-mm. All
Very
right,
good.
taking it to food and stick with me, Mark, because it's three questions in a row. Bam, bam, bam. Bagel or a muffin?
Oh, a bagel.
Oh,
Totally
I
a
knew you were
bagel.
going to say it. Leading up to the second question, toasted or untoasted?
Oh, toasted, please.
And the third question, cream cheese or butter, sir?
Cream cheese.
Ah,
Butter makes me poop. It does.
TMI. Do you know what that stands for?
It upset my
What,
stomach.
what
I'm
does it
sorry.
do to your WAP? What does it do to your WAP?
Speaking of that last one, here's mine. You ready?
Yes, sir.
Thongs or baby wipes?
What? They don't go together. It's not the same category. I can't with you this morning.
I just
I,
it popped into my head because thongs are like, come on,
it's like thongs are
just wear a
floss.
baby wipe, you know?
Was that for real, your last one?
Yes.
Okay, my real last, and I'm going to bring it back in, guys. Sorry, guys. Um, oh, okay, this is good for you. I wrote this specifically for Mark A. McNease. One last piercing or one last tattoo?
Oh, a last tattoo. Yeah, for
Oh,
sure.
really? What and where?
Well, if I did it, I used to want an eagle on my, but not an American eagle, on my chest. But I definitely, I could see a tattoo as a 62-year-old man, but not a piercing. Some things, maybe I'm ageist, but some shit just does not look good on the aging body. And, pierced shit is one of them.
Yeah, well, Mark was a piercer and a tattooer. That's why I asked the question, folks. But and I have none of the above. I used to have pierced earrings, but got rid of it. I agree. We're past that deadline to do anything. I wouldn't choose either or. But what's up, Mark? That was fun, huh?
That was a lot of fun. We laughed. They're going to laugh with us.
We laughed. Just a quick interjection before we go on the show. Just as Mark said, you can follow us, guys. Give your feedback, weigh in the conversation. You can follow us on both Facebook and Instagram at the Twist Podcast 2.0. One time, not too long ago, on one of our shows, and you can find all of our archive shows too at thetwistpodcast.com. Is that right?
Yeah, thetwistpodcast.com.
So you go there, you can find our archive shows. A couple shows back, Mark, someone did write in this week to give some clarity to a topic I brought up about the dying populations around the world. And they wanted to weigh in and let us know that there are 23 nations, including Spain and Japan, are expected to see their populations go in half by the year 2100. And a lot of that, just relates to various things. What they're saying, like China, currently the most populous nation in the world, is expected to peak at 1.4 billion and then go down to 732 million. A lot of it is just things, climate change, social change, all those things. So they want to let us know that. So yeah, we'd love to hear feedback. Thanks, guys.
Now, are we ready? Because
Yeah.
I'm going to combine my big topic is my gear grinder. And people, so
Cool.
they know, gear grinders are things that get us all geared up or worked up or something, right?
Well, then let me start with my gear grinder. Then we'll go to yours, and then we'll go into the main topic. Okay, so my gear grinder is something that I experienced in the Midwest. I've lived out east. I've lived in California. I've lived in the South in Louisiana. I've lived in the middle of the country, Missouri, Illinois area, and then I've lived in Wisconsin. And one of the things, Mark, being an East Coaster for a big part of your life now, is they say how direct people are on the East Coast, right? And even on the West Coast, people are they ask for it, they say it, and then they're like, oh, in the Midwest, you're so nice. You guys don't just come in and, you're not abrasive. And then you hear people that travel from Wisconsin to New York. They're like, New Yorkers are so strong. They just say it like it is. Well, I don't know if you know, but this is actually a thing called the ask culture and the guess culture. There are a lot of essays about how people on the coasts, they ask if they can do something or they can take something. It's one or the other. So you guys live in an ask culture. Hey, this is what I need. This is what I'm going to give. Give me a bagel with cream cheese, whatever. We live in a guess culture where we weigh people out, more sensitive, and Southerners too. That middle block of states is kind of that way, and it drives me nuts. It's a gear grinder here. You know, when people say, "Well, I might be able to go out with you today," or in the South they would say, "I might can go out with you today," or "We'll probably be able to come at 6 o'clock." You are or you're not. You know, this
Yeah.
guest culture thing drives me nuts. There's a movie, this filmmaker did this. Her hometown is Milwaukee. She did a movie about this, and it's playing in festivals around the country. And I can't think of it's called, I can't remember the name of the movie. That's not relevant. The story it kicks off is, it's called, I don't remember what the movie's called. But anyway, you know what I'm talking about, this culture? It's
Yeah,
interesting.
yeah. And I was gonna say if people want to learn just to like train themselves to be more direct, watch Judge Judy. We watch a lot of Judge Judy, and she's a yes or no person, and I have become that. And I'm even aware of how I sometimes like, you ask somebody a question. Do you want this last piece of toast? It's a
Yeah,
yes or no question.
right.
But then we'll go on like, well, I don't, you know what I mean? We give like these paragraph answers. It's
Oh,
a
I know.
yes or no question. So that's one way to just become aware of that and to do that more often and to do that yourself. Don't just expect other people to adjust, but like, it happens with Frank and I all the time. It's like a yes or no. Do you want to go outside? Yes or no. It's
I
not,
know.
we don't have to talk about the road and the street and the roof and is it going to rain and just yes or no.
Yes, we want that culture. So this movie, because I do owe it to the filmmaker, because she brought it up. It's called Ringolevio. If you want to look it up, it's a game that's played on the East Coast, but in this case, it's played in the Midwest. Kristen Peterson's movie Ringolevio talks about the tension of a guest culture. Back to you, Mark.
Can you tell I'm getting
Getting
no, but
antsy.
I'm the official timekeeper for the show because
It's your job, dude.
I'm recording it and I see how long we've been talking and we're hitting
And you're apparently the humorist as well, this show,
well we're
because you get.
headed for the 40-minute mark, so we got to kind of like work through this.
Take it
Um,
away.
just my gear grinder. It's my topic too. It's like I'm so sick of hearing about enthusiasm, or the lack thereof. It's like this has been going on for a long time, and I keep seeing this shit, especially from like Democrats and progressives. Like I'm not enthused about Joe Biden, and they're just not enthused about Joe Biden, and so much is at stake. To me, at this point, I can't. I don't have what I wrote on Facebook, but actually, it was very articulate. Enthusiasm when it's a life or death situation, when our democracy is teetering on the brink of disaster. Enthusiasm is for kids at a birthday party waiting for the magician to come out. Fuck enthusiasm. I am enthusiastic about saving my country. I'm enthusiastic about stopping the assault on our institutions. I don't need to be enthused about Joe Biden. We are so far beyond that being what determines who sits in our White House that I just can't tolerate it anymore. If you're not enthused enough to get out there and vote, from our perspective, it's to stop Trump, to vote to get Biden and Harris in the White House. Then you can go ahead and live with another 4 years of Donald Trump. You could go ahead and watch him replace Ginsburg with some hackneyed right wing judge that sits there for the rest of. You go ahead and live with that shit. Because I've
Right.
got no time for you. If
Right.
enthusiasm is what you need, we're in deep, deep, deep trouble. So that's
Mhm.
my thing.
Well, and didn't you want to make that go into today's topic?
What was today's topic? Remind me.
Well, I get it. Well, if Trump's going to win or not, and
Oh,
then
oh,
you're
oh,
just.
oh, oh, I'm sorry. Um, I'm not calling it. I just refuse to call it because I honestly don't know. So much of it depends on voter suppression. So much of it depends on their ability to stop vote counts, and I have no idea who's going to win. I think when we get really close to the election, we're going to have a good idea uh, of who is actually going to win this election. But I think we're too far out because so much can happen.
Well,
You
and
know.
it's so true. And one of the things I hated about the 2016 election is listening to pollsters and the twists and the everything. It just unnerved me. And then you finally got to the point where everybody was putting everything on Hillary and then everything reversed. And I don't want a repeat of that. But I'm going to call it. I'm going to call for Biden. When you talk about enthusiasm, I'm very enthusiastic about that. Thank you. The Biden-Harris ticket. Yes. Is that like, shut up, Rick, or go for it? I
No,
can't
it's like I just got a hard on.
I'm calling it,
It's
babe.
been
That's why.
months.
That's why. Anything I can do for you, Mark, I'm happy to help.
No, I'm a married man.
Black women vote will decide it. I'm telling you, August was a very historic month. It was the 100-year anniversary of the 19th Amendment allowing women to vote. But people still forget that it wasn't till the Voting Rights Act, 55 years after that, the year of my birth in 1965, August 6, 1965, that black women were in practice able to exercise their right to vote. Some black women in this country couldn't vote until 1965 because suppression of the vote in the South, and we're not going to go back there. Women are going to come out. Black women are going to come out. They're I think they represent a smaller part of the population, but in the power of the vote, they're extremely strong. And I love the fact they're going to come out. They're going to vote for Harris as much as Biden, but then they're going to come out and they're going to kick Trump's at it. It's going to be because of the black women that Trump loses the White House, and it makes me so excited. Can you tell?
You just gave me part of my headline for the show title. I like to include.
You're welcome, Mark. Anything I can do for you.
Rick calls
What is
the
it?
election. Rick calls the election. It's going to be the Twist podcast number 135, Passion Politics. Rick calls the election, and this week's headlines.
Well, good. And I'll leave it at that. I could get into the polls after the two conventions, of course. What's his name took an uptick. What's his name? Trump. But Biden still had by 9 points in Florida, 2 points in North Carolina and Georgia, a point in Texas, 8 points, which ended up voting for Trump by 8 points down there. So anyway, we won't get into that. Just, there you go. Biden, Harris.
Great show. I've got a quote. Do you?
I got a quote. We'll go to yours and then to mine because I'm the boss of the agenda.
I wanted something inspirational.
I got one.
People could take into their days because I know these are difficult times. So my
okay,
quote,
but then mine might not be as.
No,
okay,
let
go.
me finish, please. Thank you.
And you're welcome.
No, my quote comes from the 21st century philosopher Donald J. Trump. Quote: "We had somebody get on a plane from a certain city this weekend, and in the plane it was almost completely loaded with thugs wearing these dark uniforms, black uniforms, with gear and this and that. That is our president. Let it sink in."
I can't with him. Anyway, this is, I'd be remiss. I started with a quote about the month of September, but I'm going to call out to all my friends that are in recovery, all my friends that are considering recovery or have been in and out, and to all of us that are living with folks in recovery in our lives. It's a wonderful gift. Posted a picture of Elton John on my personal Facebook yesterday. I love that man. I'm going to shout out to some of my friends, Tanya, to Dexter, to my friend Sky, who's a big leader in recovery here in Wisconsin. I want to shout out to my friend Pam Lano, who you know, Pam Schmuddy, who works in that field too. So the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Service Administration, called SAMHSA, came out and named this, National Recovery Month in the United States. And here's a quote. It actually comes from, I think, many sources, many books. It's an anonymous quote that relate to addiction recovery. The quote is this: "My recovery must come first, so that everything I love in life does not have to come last." There's an 800 number. Yeah, it's beautiful. I'm going to post it on both of our sources so people have it. If you guys are facing any kind of challenges, call 1-800-662-HELP. That's 1-800-662-HELP. And Mark and I are there for you, boo.
Yeah, and I'm going to go ahead and say I have been alcohol free for over 5 years.
Awesome.
The only reason I don't use sober is because I'm not in the program. I just reached this point where I stopped. It's over for me. But sober for a lot of people means you go to meetings, you do the steps, you do. So I tend to not use that word. But I have not had a drink for well over 5 years.
That's beautiful, Mark. It's awesome. All right, guys. Thanks
lots of ice cream, baby.
Yeah, I'm going to go get my haircut in an illegal location. I don't know what I'm going to do.
Just don't put it on Instagram.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for joining
everybody.
us. Bye, Mark.
Bye.